Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 113. In this episode, we're going to talk about something. Of course, it's something, but it's going to help us out because it helped me out a lot. And that's really breaking the chains of the history. Right? There's a quote that I heard, and this is what I want to talk about. There's a quote that I heard this morning when I was walking, and it is, "Don't let your history keep you in your misery." What? Why'd I say that? What? When I heard that, it really clicked. I was on a walk. I was just out the door, about 5 minutes into it. Of course, I hit my motivational / whatever it is, podcasts or YouTube clips to kind of keep my brain in the positive, right? Because that's what I do, and that's what I always ask you guys to do yourself. And when I heard that, bam, it's like a StreamYard full of thoughts that has happened. So I want to share that with you guys today. So hang on tight. Hang on to your seats. Let's get ready to go as we break the grips of history to break our misery. Good play on words. So we are going to try something new today. Okay, so hopefully you enjoy it. I'm going to break this up into tons of different segments. We might call it the Mental Mobility Show instead of podcast, and I'm going to let you know more about it. So here we go. First part let's go to Pete with his DBT deck. Let's get to shuffling. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the DBT deck. It's still Pete. Let's shuffle in the deck. Pick a card, any card. You can. Pick one. Which one? No? Wait, let me read your mind. Okay, this one. Sounds good. This one right here? You sure? Okay, look at it. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell me which one is it. What is it? Does this say Dear Man? Oh, look at me. I know magic. Or maybe the light shined it through. So just in case. Dear Man. Again, with DBT deck, this helps us really regulate our emotions. It really helps me understand things. Exercise that I do every single day to make sure I'm practicing my skills. The skills to get out of my depression, the skills to fight my anxiety, the skills to really work and help my bipolar. Okay, so this is Dear Man, and I really like this one. This one is really tough to do, but it's very beneficial. Okay, ask or say no assertively. Assert by asking or by saying no. Write down your direct and clear assertion on your script. Now rehearse your assertion, concentrate on having confident tone, and experiment with the volume of your voice. Notice how your ability to be assertive improves with practice. So what we use Dear Man for is when we're having a situation. You know, when you sit down and you ruminate about something with someone that you may have a tussle with. You might have some thoughts with, whether it's your mom or your dad or your brother or your friend. And you really want to have this deep conversation with them, but you don't know how to do it and just stays inside your head. Well, writing it, Dear Man or woman now, right? Or whatever now, it's cool, whatever. That's what you do. You'll write it in a way. Now they're asking you to write this letter to them. You know, this like, oh, if you're feeling shitty, write a letter to someone. Yeah, it's true. You can write a letter because it helps you. And then you don't have to send it. Then if you send it, and then you've committed. And you can send it. But a lot of times you can just write it down and it'll help you feel better. But really, you should read it to the person and send it. That's what. So assert by asking or by saying no. Write down your direct and clear assertion on your script. So now you rehearse it with your assertion. So put feeling behind it. Now just don't write it where it's like, oh, no. Write it and be assertive with it. Write it and mean it. And then you can rehearse it and say it out loud in the mirror, as weird as it may be. But it does take the thoughts and the emotions out of your head and into paper. And now the emotions are out of the mix, and now you can think a little bit more logically and or have a script to go with, because a lot of times we're in those situations too, and now this is where you want to maybe confront someone or tell someone something, right? You've already rehearsed it, you've already said it 1,000 times. Now it's going to come out a little bit more natural, and you're not going to bumble on your words or maybe not say something you should not have. I don't even want to say should not have, right? That you might regret saying. So writing it down, getting on paper, rehearsing it, and now it's like a script, like you're going to do a YouTube video, and now present it to the person. And that's how we win with Dear Man. So if you guys like that, I use the DBT deck. You can always go on my link. It's somewhere in the description box. I'm a big fan of these guys because, again, some of them are and some of them are really helpful whenever I need it to do. Especially it's just to practice. So back to the podcast. Pete, take it away. Here we go. Don't let the history keep you in your misery. Welcome back to the podcast. And we're going to talk about that because when I heard that, like I said, it really triggered something inside me. It really kept me inside the loop. And what I've learned is the past 2 years that I've been here in Las Vegas, and you guys the first time, and I just moved here about 2 years ago. And in the past 2 years, if not more, I thought about the past. I thought about who I used to be, what I used to do, how things used to run. And I really got stuck in the used to be's. And the used to be's is something that can really hinder us from progressing forward, from myself progressing forward. And it did, because I would just think about the past times I had great times. I just think about the fun that I used to have coaching people and the family that I had at the gym. Hundreds of people that I would coach every day and laugh and have joy and have fun, you know, and really, I guess you could say, be passionate about what it is I was doing, but at the same time, like, just having a great time doing what it is that I was doing. And then it was gone. And how do you move forward when there was so much good in something that you were doing, having fun with, taking care of, working in? How do you let that go? How do you make that stop inside? How do you compare life otherwise when you've given everything you've ever wanted? Right? That was my dream. That was my goal. Like when you write goal lists, I've had that goal for a long time, was own a gym. That was probably since 1995. Once I started really working out, I've always wanted my own gym. For you young cats, if you're on here, 1995 is not that much of a long time. But it is. That was just me trying to sound like I'm not old. But that was a goal for me and my friends. Right? Even my friend Timmy and my brother, like, oh, we're going to have our own gym. We're going to do our own thing. We go to this place, this little dungeon gym in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. It was called Tazi's. And we just have the first 24 access key. The guy was like, here's a key. We were like 19. My brother was like 14. A key for a 14-year-old? Man, you guys are crazy. Of course we're going to sneak everyone inside there. Anyway, we went in and we'd always just talk about how we would own a gym. And I really loved it. And as the years went by, getting into bodybuilding and more fitness and wrestling, coaching wrestling, I really developed this image of what I wanted. And I had it in my hand. Right? For 12 years of my life, I had it in my hand. Sure, it had its troubles of running business and being an entrepreneur when entrepreneuring wasn't cool. Right? Entrepreneuring is cool now. No matter who you are or what you do, entrepreneuring is cool. So, shut up. I did it at a time where no one thought it was cool. Everyone was like, you're an idiot. You're stupid. You're never going to make it. How are you going to get people to come to your gym? How are you going to do this? How are you going to... Trust me. I remember. I had to go find groups of other people that I would actually believe that I can succeed and that would help me find a way to succeed. It wasn't as easy as it is now, or wasn't as thought of as great as it is now. Now, it's like, yeah, entrepreneur, yeah, man, do it. Follow your passion. Shut up. It's still a lot of hard work, but probably the easiest time to run your own business. It's the easiest time. So you can do it. Just gotta stick with it and get with it. But anyway, at that time, it was very difficult because I didn't know what I was doing, but I did make it happen, and I had it in my hand, and then it was gone really fast. Boom, there goes my life and dreams, my wishes, gone. So how do I move on in life? How can I move on when something was so great? How do I move on when something was so perfect? I had to make a choice, right? I had to make a choice not to be Al Bundy. And that's my reference. If you guys don't know Al Bundy is, there was a show on Fox after The Simpsons, very adult, very funny. I wouldn't say for kids. At the time, I was a kid watching it, so I guess it is for kids. I guess it was on Fox at 8:30. So Al Bundy is called Married with Children. And it wasn't his demeanor, who he was, or sitting on the couch. It was what he would say when someone brought up the word football. And all of a sudden, something in him would snap. And he would go, oh, it was the Polk High who scored 13 touchdowns. I forget the quotes exactly. And if you want to, you can comment down below and let me know exactly what it is he said. If you guys remember Married with Children, give me a thumbs up really fast. And he would just live it. He would also dress up in it, put a helmet on, pretend like he was still playing football, high school football. And this guy was like 60 years old, still playing high school football in his mind. And more recently, I went to a place where I had to get some fingerprinting done for work. And there was a guy in there, and you heard the same thing. He was from Detroit. That's what I remembered. And he found another guy that was from Detroit. And they just started talking about football and the Detroit Lions. And then you heard the guy go off on, I used to play with XYZ. Remember this guy? Well, I used to go to camp with him. Remember that guy? Well, I used to play basketball with him. He was living in a dream of the past, bringing it back because it brought him joy. I'm not going to say it wasn't, right? I'm not going to say that's right or wrong, right? He was bringing him joy. But when I listened to it looked at him, like I would look at him this way, little sneaky poo. I'm not gonna try to take a video of him and pretend like I'm text messaging. You guys are terrible at that. But I saw it and I heard in his voice on how sad he was. And maybe those things were true. Maybe they were not true. Maybe he did run with those players. I don't remember what their names. Maybe he did play with them, next to them, play ball with them. But it wasn't him. But he pulls that in. And that's now his story, right? You can tell this is now becoming his story. And that's what it was becoming to me, right? I used to own a gym and I used to do this. This was my story. And I just brought all this history as my story. Rather than allowing myself to create more history, to create a new history, rather than hanging on to the fun times and the things that I had and the things that I love. And I heard another quote, I think it's Steve Harvey. He says, there's so much great ahead of you, not behind you. Or was it, you've got a great life ahead of you, not behind you. You get it, right? I got a great life in front of me. But what I do have to do is I have to let go. I have to let go of the past of what I've had. I have to let go of the friends that I used to make. Not that I'm letting them go, right? It's not like I'm going to forget about them. Of course I love them with all my heart, but they're not here no more. The only thing I have is right here. I can call, I can text, I can FaceTime. But what am I going to keep doing that? Am I going to keep doing that for 20 years and not allowing myself to become better? I want to be better. I finally come to a decision that I want to be better. And that's what we have to do, right? Because we can be stuck in this little hole that's fulfilled with energy of our past, of who we used to be, of what we used to do, of who we used to love, of who used to do things for us, where we used to drive, where we used to go to, and be in this ball. And that's fine. That's a great ball. But sometimes we gotta take that ball and move it into a memory bank. Put it back there, right? Let's not hold that ball in front of us, because it's not who we are anymore. I forget the name of the movie. I loved it. It's with the kids. It was about the different emotions, and they have memory balls, right? You just take it and just put it there. You don't have to smash it. You don't have to forget about it. Just keep it there and let it teach you something and let it hang out with you. God, what's the movie called? They have a new one out, but I forget what it's called. But we're going to break this up really fast, and I'll be back to talk about a little bit more about this past and history jargon. But let's go to a segment called In Between Sets. And we have a great guest in between sets. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to In Between Sets, and today we're going to talk about a word called discipline. I have it right here, and for many, many years, it's tattooed on my body, and I wasn't very, very disciplined. Right? And that's the one thing that's going to take us somewhere. It's the one thing that's going to make us stretch to where we need to go. Because a lot of times we don't want to get up. A lot of times we want to do stuff. A lot of times we talk ourselves out of doing the thing that we wrote on our lists to make sure that we can do to become better. And the list of things that we're trying to avoid that may hinder our progress. So today is called In Between Sets. Gotta get back to my set. I gotta start working out again. I want you guys to adopt the word discipline and really keep yourself accountable for the things that you do. Now, if you have trouble doing that, hire someone to do that. If you don't have money to do that, find a friend that will hold you accountable. If you need help in that way, reach out, shoot me a DM, do whatever it is you need to do, because the word of the day, in the words of Jocko Willink, I can never say his name right, big Marine, Navy SEAL guy, he says discipline equals freedom. And it's very true. Right? It's a very true statement. So for you, really quick, in between this podcast, it's called In Between Sets, work on the word discipline. And if you need help with that, just reach out. All right, back to the podcast. We are back to the Mental Mobility Show. And here we go. That rhymed, didn't it? So like I said, we get stuck in the past at times. I really like to hold on to this memory ball, and I still can't think of the movie. If you know it, it's a Pixar movie, I think. Comment, please. Let me know what it is, because I can't figure it out, what it is. And then I think about another quote or another way of life or another, thing they tell you to do, right? Or even just something to think about. And you are you are what you hang out with, or 90% of what you hang out with. You understand what that means? Like, you are who you hang out with. And for me, I don't hang out with anybody, right? So it's kind of tough to think about you are who you hang out with. The only people I hang out with is my family. I'm not really influenced by many of them. My brother, of course, I'm very influenced by, and thank God. I'll tell you a quick story of what happened yesterday once we're done with this. But if I'm the only person I hang out with, well, then I have to make a choice to be that 90%, right? I have to make a choice to be better. Because if I'm mad and I'm miserable and I'm angry, well, then that's who I hang out with 90% of the time. Angry, miserable, depressed Pete, right? And if you're the same, think about it. Like what we say to ourselves, what we say in our head, what we immediately start the day with is our 90%. It's okay 10% of the time. Yeah, you're going to get some people that talk shit, right? We talked about last episode, we just talk shit. And it's fine to, it's fine to do it. It's fun. But 90% of the time, how do you talk to yourself? Because I didn't talk to myself very well for a long time. Still don't talk to myself a great 90% of the time. I'm still fat. I'm still out of shape. I'm still bald-headed, weird-looking guy. Let's go Jets. That's all I'm going to say. A bald head. Let's go Jets 2023, 2024. But I'm hanging out with me. So I have to choose to be better. And the longer I hang out with the miserable, depressed, self-loathing even, looking into the past person, well, that's who I'm going to be. But if I choose to go on positivity walks, breathe in affirmations, meditate, fasting, sorry if you guys don't know, fasting, eating, we're talking about dieting now, eating better, choosing better sleep, playing with my kids, going for walks, making that my routine, making that my schedule. Now, that's 90% of me. And do you know what's going to be the outcome? I'm going to be that crushing, amazing, soul-lifting spirit that everyone remembers back in New Jersey, right? See, I took the little bubble, I took the past and I brought it back in. Because that's who I want to be, right? I want to be a soulful soul. I want to be a loving father. I want to be a caring friend. And that's everything that I was right there. Bloop. And bring it right back in. That's still a piece of me. It's not like it's so far away. It's still a piece of me. It's still who I am. But I have a lot of other stuff constructing around it, right? Building bridges and tunnels and barricades stopping me from doing so. So maybe you're doing the same thing. So if you do have friends and you are listening to them and they are talking negatively about you or someone else all the time, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get pulled in as well. And if you're looking to improve yourself, well, then maybe you have to create that distance between it. I'm not saying you have to separate, cut them off, and hate them. Sometimes we got to create that distance to make sure that ourselves and our soul and our heart is being fulfilled. Because talking shit is great, right? It's fun. But at some point, there's going to be a line where you're going to start talking shit about yourself. There's going to be a line where you start talking negatively about yourself. And now you're going to start believing it. And now you're the 90% of the person that you don't want to be. Going back to the past, my dad's birthday was yesterday. I wouldn't say it was a sad day. It was almost like every other day. But in my head, right, here's where the past came to me. I wanted to do this. And I want to buy a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue, right? Sit down, make a cheesesteak at the house, which would have definitely gave me diarrhea. Put French fries on the side, even though I'm not going to eat them. Set a plate for my dad. I called my brother up, and I asked him if he wanted to join me. I just wanted to have one drink, sit down, and just act like what we used to do, right? What he used to eat, what he used to love. And he loved his birthday, right? He's very thankful for his birthday. It wasn't even his birthday that he celebrated. We have this party every year in August. Everyone says it was his birthday party, but he calls it a house blessing because he almost died before through improper diagnosis of medication. He was in the hospital for a long time, and he was very thankful that he did survive that. So that's why we always had that party. It was kind of a blessing, and we get a house blessing, and the priest would come over and, do the old Father, Son, Holy Spirit, throw some water everywhere, and then he would drink and talk shit with all the guys at the table. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So I text my brother, and I was like, hey, man, it's like, I'm going to do this. He was like, oh, yeah? And he kind of was into it. And then a little bit later, I was at work. I checked back, and he was like, oh, no, I got this thing I got to do. And he went to do something, right? And then he said one quote that really stuck with me, made me think. He goes, I'm going to choose to connect with him in a different way this year rather than to mourn. Oof. And I didn't think that I was mourning him. I was going to sit here and sulk and drink myself to death into sorrow, but to think about it that way really changed my perspective of the past. Because it's not what we used to do that matters, right? The Johnny Walker Blue, thank God I didn't buy it. It's like $200, $300 bottle. Like, I don't want to fucking buy it. But I was going to get it for him, right? We used to eat cheese sticks. Now that made us feel good. The comfort of having that. But it didn't matter. What mattered is that we were in his thoughts. That we brought him to us. That we talked to him in prayer, in meditation, and breathing and just being silent for 5 minutes even. And I was already doing that all day. I started my whole walk completely different that day, yesterday. And all I did was talk to him. And I think I did enough. So why did I have to go buy the same bottle and the same cheesesteak and the same things that we used to do and that we used to love? Because that's irrelevant. And I'm perfectly fine today, as much as I thought that everything was going to change if I didn't do it. But we're here and I feel better and nothing. Instead, we went out with the kids. We picked out a nice dessert at a store. We sat down and we sang happy birthday to him. Because that's what matters, right? Is that connection and remembering, and not only me remembering, but allowing my kids to remember who he was. That's one thing I never want them to forget. Because as we get older, and as they're going to get older, he's going to be just more of a figment. If there's no constant reminder, a little bit of the things that he did for them and was for them and how much he loved them. You know, when my grandfather died on my mom's side when I was really young, and like I rarely remember him. I just really remember a picture hanging out next to him in a photo album. You know, I don't remember half of the things we've done, and I was like 4. So I don't want that to happen for my daughter or my son. I don't want them to forget that part, you know, and make it something and let them understand that death is part of life. You know, I'm not gonna hide it. We haven't hid it ever. My kids touched my dad's dead body. Most people keep their kids away. It's like, no, it's not good for them. They have to understand life is not long. There is death and it happens. And it's scary. I'm not gonna hold that back from them from learning a lesson in life. Because I just learned one too yesterday. That the little rituals and the things that we hold on to don't fucking matter at all. At all. The only thing that matters is what we have in front of us. And the choices that we make. And the choice to move forward. Because we have a great life ahead of us. Not behind us. So if you can, please listen to the podcast, write a review on iTunes and or Spotify. It would really help the podcast grow. That's the one thing I could ask for you guys today. And if you can, check out bucktown.org. Their new line will be coming out soon. But if you want to ponder and check out what they do, always do so. This is a great little logo shirt, and there's so much more coming out. It's awesome. I'm really excited for them. So please, guys, if you can do one thing today, and it wasn't the plugs, and it wasn't the shorts, and it wasn't the websites, it's think about what you hold on to. Think about what's in that bubble, and are you surrounding your bubble with things that don't matter? And maybe just take the bubble and fill it up with things that do in the past and put it in the back, and now allow yourself to create more bubbles or new memories, because that's all we can do. And the lesson that we got today is that life is not long. Life is very short. We think we're going to be here forever, and we're not. So we can take our time all day and do the things that we used to do, or we can choose to move forward and create more memories. I'll see you guys later. This is Pete. Hope you guys enjoyed this new revamp of the podcast. Episode number 113, History Making in the Books. I'll see you guys later. I am very thankful and very grateful for each and every one of you. Peace out.